Bender is like, you know, he's there. He's like, well, make it, yeah, he makes it a twofer, and he puts the thing and then runs out of the suicide machine.
Right.
After because they have like all these like blades and knives coming at them,
Right.
and so um,
And they sort of are being chased by Leela and the
Leela and the
police.
police are
Right.
chasing them,
And so they
and
get chased into a museum of heads.
a museum of heads,
Right.
which is always, which I think is sort of kind of what the show is kind of known
Right.
for.
And it's such a great way to do cameos.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
great way to do cameos. So like they had like Richard Nixon
And
and
Leonard
Leonard
Nimoy.
Nimoy, who I think
Right.
was voice if Leonard Nimoy
Right.
voiced him. And there was like, and he's like, "What are you guys all doing here?" And like, I liked how Fry is completely like, bewildered by all of
Right.
this. Um, so Leela and so Leela's chasing them, and she basically kind of puts them at the end of the line where all the heads are. And I think Fry throws a head or a head in a jar at Leela, and they escape, right?
They sort of well, there's somewhat of a struggle and stuff like Nixon sort of bites onto Fry's arm.
Oh, Nixon by something. Right, right,
But then
right.
they sort of escape into like a different room, and that's where Bender gets electrocuted a bit. So,
And
and
he becomes who
because he's refusing to
w-
bend the bars
then the
up,
bars,
because
right?
that's a debending.
That's debending, right, right, right,
So
right.
that sort of like lets him sort of go
It kind of becomes the sort of character.
actual Bender, yeah.
And so they're chased
And then that's after they get out of the museum, they get they run into the underground where they have like they've just built the city over the
over
yeah
the so Fry goes down to the underground city, and the underground city is basically the what
1990s New York.
1990s New York,
Right.
and he looks out at all the people, kind of looks out, and he's like, oh my gosh, this is such a grim society, right? And it kind of reminded me of the underground, kind of like the Morlocks
Yeah.
of the X-Men, or maybe
Right.
the Time Machine kind of thing.
Right. That's
Um,
where we have sort of Leela turns and says she doesn't like her job either.
Either, yeah, and then she ends up taking the
Her chip out.
her chip out, and then they go and look for
His great 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 nephew.
great nephew, and he finds him, and his name's Professor
Farnsworth,
Farnsworth, and he's this old man
mad
who has
scientist.
kind of mad, yeah, he's kind of got a mad scientist look to him, and he's sitting in this chair,
Uh,
and he's like sleeping, and he's woken up by Fry and Leela and Bender, and they meet and they talk, and he says, um, so what do you do? And he's like, I'm a delivery driver. He's kind of got like a spacecraft UPS
right.
company
That's a side business
as a
to
side
fund
business
his
that's
research.
funding his research.
Right.
And I love it how Fry hates being a delivery boy when he's in the 90s,
Right.
late 90s, and when he's in the 3000s, he's like, woo,
Yeah.
woo, I'm a delivery boy. Um, and that sort of kind of
So
codifies the story,
right, and sets up the show like
sets
this
up
is
the
sort of
show.
like gets the whole crew
Crew
together.
together, yeah. And then so I guess Jay, what was your thoughts kind of watching this pilot episode, or like, I guess watching it now? Or let me ask you this: what was it like? What would you if I showed you this pilot? Let's say maybe would you watch this show kind of like back to back with an episode of The Simpsons?
Yeah, I'd watch. I mean, seeing this now, I definitely still like it.
The whole, I guess I'm saying, does it hold up since last
Yeah,
time?
yeah, it holds up
I think it
definitely.
works pretty, and I think the pilot episode works pretty well. It shows him in the space. It shows him in the 90s or in our present, and then it shows kind of the future. I think they kind of expanded on the whole futuristic stuff, and I did like um I mean, I mean, this episode sort of just sets everything up, so
Right.
it's not really anything to talk about. It's very. And I'm wondering if, unlike The Simpsons, which is pretty much like you put them in a situation,
Right.
like you can. There's some episodes where you can watch, and it doesn't follow like the next episode.
Right.
I think Futurama might do the difference where like
Yeah, it sort of it does
it
have a
has
much
more of a
more.
plot. Like
Yeah, it
you have
continues.
to watch episode 6 to understand episode
Yeah,
7.
it's not like super
They're all
that, but it is like it does have a much more stronger continuation.
in
Yeah.
storyline, yeah.
Yeah.
And I really like the spaceship, or just the future in general. I like
Right.
Fry.